and welcome to 72 Dragons Health. Today, we had the pleasure of speaking with Christine Hallquist. Welcome to this interview, Christine Hallquist. Having you with us today is an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
Christine Hallquist is an American politician and former CEO of Vermont Electric Cooperative. In 2018, she became the first openly transgender person to be nominated for governor by a major political party in the United States. Her candidacy highlighted important LGBTQ+ issues and increased visibility in politics. Before entering politics, Hallquist had a distinguished career in the energy industry, where she focused on renewable energy and modernizing infrastructure. Throughout her career, Hallquist has served as a CEO, CIO, and expert advisor to the C-suite on business and technology strategy development, advising global corporations on business process improvement, and being among the first in the US to adopt lean manufacturing. Christine Hallquist is an executive innovator and leader with extensive experience driving operational technology, business development, renewable energy, and utility transformation. She has pioneered new technologies, including fiber-optic communications, and has led some of the most innovative firms in the United States. My name is Dr. Pietro Aparicio from 72 Dragons Health. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your experiences with us. Without any further ado, let's begin. Christine, what initially inspired you to pursue a career in the energy sector, and how did your early experience shape your professional trajectory? Also, what motivated you to transition from a successful career in the energy industry to politics?
You know, as a youngster, I was clearly a non-traditional student. I spent a lot of time outside of school doing experiments, and my parents remember me running a lawnmower on biogas from manure when I was 13 years old. So I was very active and very fascinated by electricity. I spent my high school years doing lots of design work. I'd go to work with my father, who was an electrical engineer, and design circuits. So you might say I was a lifetime nerd. So I went to work for Digital Equipment Corporation. I went and got a 2-year associate's degree. I didn't have any advanced degrees, but quickly recognized I had some knowledge and experience that was helpful, and they quickly made me into an engineer, and a design engineer on power systems. A very successful career, but you know, and as an early adopter of lean manufacturing, I found it quite straightforward to start a consulting career on lean manufacturing. So I worked with many companies across the country, including like Honda R&D of America, Miller Brewing, and others, as well as small companies in Vermont. But you know, in the late 90s, we were talking about the end of oil, and I also started working with some of the electric utility companies. I realized they were at least a decade behind the rest of the industries in terms of technology. So I had this opportunity to go into a bankrupt electric utility and transform it, and over time turned it into an A+ rated utility. But it was through the application of technology. You know, we were the first in the nation to GIS all of our assets. We were early adopters of smart grid. We were the only small utility that designed their own software to allow people to see their hourly usage. So we, you know, very much enjoyed my career in the energy sector. Ultimately, you know, I was nominated to be the chair of the Business and Technical Advisory Committee for the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association, which serves 56% of America's landmass. So I have the opportunity to work with some great projects.
Very impressive career. Thank you for sharing. Now, I'm talking about the LGBTQ+ community. What are the most pressing issues currently facing the LGBTQ plus community, and what steps can be taken to address them, in your opinion?
Well, we have a serious issue in the United States, and it's a trend towards fascism. You know, we have a presidential candidate who's a felon, who's clearly going to target the LGBTQ community. So we are facing an existential threat to our community, and it's a very near term. We're only a few months away from really seeing what our future is going to be.
Big challenges on the near future. How do you balance your professional responsibilities with your role as an advocate for transgender rights?
You know, that's a really interesting question, because initially, when I decided to run for governor, I really wasn't thinking about the LGBTQ side. I was really thinking about the future of Vermont. As I entered the career and saw, and successfully won the primary and got all this worldwide attention, I realized that I'm kind of stuck with this leadership role, and I accepted it. I accept the fact that the most important thing I can do as an LGBT leader is be successful, and be present. Interestingly enough, I get invited to speak all over the country. Last year, I was turning down speaking events in Florida and Texas. But now I've decided it's even more important for me as a leader to really run into that fire. And I will accept those. And I look forward to I look forward to the harassment that I might receive, because I'm in a very good position personally and from a leadership to deal with that kind of harassment.
Thank you, Christine. So it sounds like lots of people are looking for some guidance and support. Now, Christine, can you talk a bit about some of the technologies you pioneer, such as fiber-optic communications and their impact on the energy sector?
Yes, I'm very, very excited to talk about some of those technologies. The energy sector really needs the smart grid. If we're going to solve climate change, we need a smart grid, meaning we need to have communication with all these electric devices. When you think about 500 cars plugging in to a circuit at night, it'll collapse the network. We have to have a smart grid. So I started working on that smart grid way back in 2004. And there's a documentary out about my work that was done by PBS called Denial Documentary, if you really want to take a deep dive into what smart grid means. But it's a critical foundation for solving climate change. Now, my task right now is to get every Vermont address connected to fiber optic internet. I talk about doing that for the economic future of Vermont, but my real drive is it still continues to be my focus on solving climate change. It's a critical infrastructure that people are just beginning to be aware in the utility industry, the criticality of this infrastructure. So that is really working my heart's passion, is to contribute to the solution of climate change. I like to set high goals. So, I'm personally going to work till my last dying breath to solve climate change. This is a critical element. I also was, renewable energy. When I left to run for governor, we were 96% carbon free. I had led the largest wind project in the state of Vermont, the largest solar project, the largest integration of renewables, and we were, really setting the pace for what renewable energy should look like. So, and also, in 2011, I worked with a team to develop a gasifier, led the team actually develop a gasifier for community energy, done a variety of things in this area.
Fantastic. Yeah, climate change is such a big challenge. And we really going to look into the documentary. Sounds like very interesting. Now, Christine, how do you hope your contributions to the energy sector and the LGBTQ plus advocacy will shape the future for generations to come? Well,
Vermont, we just received acknowledgement from the Benton Institute and the Institute for Reliability, but I don't remember the other institute, but national report on Vermont's leading the nation. We are clearly far ahead of the rest of the states. No other state has set a goal to get fiber optic broadband to every address. And so, again, the most important thing I can do for the LGBTQ community is to be successful. And, leading these efforts and continuing to while I can, contribute to the betterment of humankind, that's the best thing I can do for the LGBTQ community. And also run into that fire, wherever there's, I'm at a point in my career where I'm highly confident. I don't, have no fears, and, I'm willing to go anywhere in order to address the bigotry and bias and that really accompanies my work, because I do get asked to present in some of these states. There are 25 states now that have passed anti-transgender laws. I'm going into those states, and they're asking me to come. And
very impressive work and trajectory in your career. So Christine Hallquist, it's been a pleasure talking about your remarkable journey and the impact you have had on both the energy sector and the LGBTQ plus advocacy. Thank you for your tireless efforts and for being an inspiration to us all. Thank you.
And thank you for the interview.